Well, hello you gorgeous mother truckers, you and fellow rebels, and welcome to another video. So, as the summer gently drifts away and we begin to turn to autumn, well, surprise, surprise, that's right, the energy price cap has gone up because all of a sudden in the winter, the energy's gone up. Who'd have thought? So, our new energy secretary, Ed on the Lunatic Miliband, who is literally an insane man who will go on about green energy and as then, with the same Labour government that has a £22 billion hole in the finances, goes over and goes, well, I'll give £11 billion to the third world and Africa for their green energy things. Yeah, so in any case, let's listen to the wise words of our new energy secretary and what he thinks about the off-gem rice price cap going up by 10%. Now, fortunately, I've managed to fix my energy bill, which is, at the price that it is now before it goes up, which is going to save me 10%. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's still, that doesn't mean I'm not, I'm still going to have to cut back in the winter. Last winter we were lucky, it was fairly mild, and I didn't have to have my heating on as much. But also remember, before I play this, is that there's thousands and thousands of old age pensioners who now no longer have their winter fuel allowance, and the bills are now going to go up. So if you can fix now before they do go up, because it's going to go up in October. And also remember, just happens to be in total coincidence to why Rachel Reeves is about to do her budget. Now, some are going, oh, well, this is why she got rid of the winter fuel allowance because, No, she did it because they're horrible socialists who want our old people to die, because in reality, it's the older people that will give the most resistance to what these socialist lunatics want to do. Any case, let's listen to, this brain-dead moron and have a go. Sorry, no, he's not a moron. Or is he? That could get me locked up, I suppose. Ah, the joys.
No, this will be really worrying news for lots of families who will face even greater struggles this winter.
Not that he gives a shit, because he can claim his energy bills like they all can on their expenses, which we pay for. So they don't care. So when they go, oh, it'll be hard, oh, it's going to be this, they're lawyers.
And it's a direct result of our country's exposure to international gas markets.
Well, if you hadn't closed down our coal mines, and if you hadn't destroyed our coal power stations like you did, and that was the Conservatives as well, but Labour started it before. If you hadn't destroyed all these in the pursuit of a non-existent green energy thing that doesn't work because you have to invest in oil, in nuclear power, because it's the only way you can do it, because wind-generated solar doesn't work that well, we'd have this problem. If you didn't stop drilling and using the oil that we have and our own natural gases that we have ourselves in the North Sea, we wouldn't be so beholden upon everybody else. But let's be honest, the gas usage is about the same no matter what. They've just banged up the prices because it's winter time. And you seem to treat us like we're stupid enough not to realise that this is just you ripping us off. Because, of course, you're not going to make the energy companies pay any more taxes, are you? No, because it makes you richer. But anyway, let's carry on.
That are controlled by dictators, and that is our legacy.
Dictators. That's a bit rich, isn't it? But it's always going to be the same. They're always going to blame the previous government for whatever's happening. So let's carry on.
That's why this government has a plan to do something about it. Our mission for clean, homegrown power that we control in this country.
That's supplied for, paid for by foreign governments. Yeah. And this green energy, as I said on one of my walks, I'm off to Great Yarmouth soon on holiday, and literally opposite is a huge wind farm, an offshore wind farm. And last time we were down there, it was fairly blowy, but too blowy. And out of the 30 turbines that were there, only 2 of them were running, the rest of them were off because of it's either too windy or not windy enough. Yeah, so, any case, carry on.
And it's why we've hit the ground running in just 7 weeks, consenting new solar power, overturning the ban on onshore wind.
basically destroying farmland and destroying all those sort of things on this bullshit thing that doesn't work. It doesn't work. It really doesn't. All he wants to do is destroy farmland, tear it all up, and put all these wind things that don't work when it's too windy or not windy enough. Oh, and by the way, all need oil to run their bearings in their generators. Oh, and we don't have anywhere to store that electric power when it's being used. So especially with the wind, once you're producing too much power, it just gets generated straight into the ground and wasted. Yeah, it's a good idea, this.
Precisely to give our country the energy security we don't have at the moment. And this government will also do everything it can to protect bill payers.
No, you won't. But the thing is, we do. We have that big oil field off the coast of Scotland. We have it, but you won't allow that to be used. So you say we need to stop being reliant on other people for things. We've got the fuel itself, but you won't get it. You won't drill for it. You won't allow people to drill for it. So what you're saying is we need green energy because we're too reliant on people when we've got huge coal fields still. We have huge oil, petrochemicals offshore. Now, you could use them. If you were logical, you would use them to generate power while you're building your little nuclear reactors and your fusion reactors when they come online, but the nuclear reactors. So we can all have the lights burning, cheaper energy bills, while they're building all these nuclear generators, which you then can switch on, and then we would have green energy. But that's too logical, isn't it? Now, what you want to do is screw us. This is all about, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect the rich. So it doesn't matter, does it? They can do what they want to us. We'll pay through the nose for something that won't work when we have all the resources we need for the next 20 years. And in that process of using that, we can then build our nuclear generators and then we wouldn't have a problem, would we? But no, that's too simple.
Reforming the regulator so it's a strong champion of consumers.
Is that the one that the previous government, which you haven't reversed, now allows it to raise the price cap every 3 months instead of every 6 months? That one, yeah? So you can screw us even more. I'm just trying to get this clear. Making
standing charges fairer and increasing funding for energy efficiency so people can cut bills. But this is obviously...
Mate, energy efficiency is a great idea, yeah? But, my house is insulated really, really well. It's got cavity wall insulation. I've got central heating. But the simple truth of the matter is, it doesn't help all the time. If it's really, really cold, no matter how much insulation I got, it's still cold in the house, which is why we boil in the summer.
Really worrying news for lots of families in our country.
You can't keep blaming your inheritance though, can you? It comes as you're scrapping the winter fuel allowance. 10 million pensioners in England and Wales are due to lose that money, and now they'll see that they'll have to pay increased energy costs as well. Part of that is your decision. How concerned are you about hardship this winter?
Well, look, the truth is that the mess that was left to us in the public finances is what necessitated.
Here we go. So he's not answering the question. Oh, well, you see, we're in a mess. We can't afford, basically. What you're going to say is we can't afford the winter fuel allowance because, it's a lot of money. But I've also given £11 billion to Africa for their energy systems. Liar.
That decision around winter fuel payments and us focusing it on those who need it the very most.
My mum earns £3 too much a month on her pension to qualify for pension credit, which is the thing that you're saying you need to have to get it. So my mum, because of those £3 extra, won't get the winter fuel allowance. Stop talking out your arse.
That's why this government is also driving throughout the coming months to get the people, the 880,000 pensioners who are entitled to pension credit and not getting it, to try and get them to take it up, to make them aware of this so they can get the winter fuel payment as well. So it was a difficult decision that the Chancellor, Rachel...
No, it wasn't. It's one that you went back on. You spent your entire time in opposition screaming blue murder if anyone even talked about getting rid of the winter fuel allowance. You get in, you take it out. And so there's 10 million pensioners, and he's going, yeah, but there's 880,000. So they still don't give a shit about anyone else. Don't get me wrong. There were people who get winter fuel allowance who shouldn't because they're rich. Okay? But it was easier to means test it, saying if you earn so much, you don't get it. That's it. That's all you had to do. But no, you decided to set it so it protects certain demographics who don't work, who do get pension credit, and they're fine, and go, well, yes, there's 10 million who won't get it, but we can save 800,000. You're selectively choosing who can live and who can die. That's what you're doing.
Rachel Reeves made, but it was also a direct result of the legacy left to us by the last government.
No, it wasn't, you liar. You absolute liar. You can't stand there and go, it's from last time, when you have just committed over 11, I think it was 11.6 billion pounds to Africa for its green energy systems. You cannot do that. You cannot do that when it still costs 4.6 billion pounds a year to house illegal immigrants. To turn around and say, this is because lawyers, you have chosen to take money away from the old because you can. It's nothing to do with anything else. If you went and said, well, that 11 billion, which we were going to get to have, we're going to keep, so now we only own, 9 billion? But you didn't. You're not. You're lawyers. You're full of it. You're absolutely full of crap. You go like that, okay, we'll go on the energy. Well, okay, so you can send you 11 billion. We still can't afford it. Well, we can afford to send 3 billion pounds a year to fight a war that's got fuck all to do with us. You are not on the moral ground here. You are genuinely not on the moral ground here. You're full of crap. Absolutely full of crap. So let's go back a few years, just after COVID. And here's your leader, just to prove what a bunch of lying, hypocritical arseholes you really are.
Today, the energy price cap rise has been announced, and that's going to cause real pain for so many households. So many people have said to me, look here, I may not be the hardest up, but I'm going to really struggle to pay these energy bills.
Just after COVID, so, it's what we inherited. Well, here you go with your hypocritical lying again.
Small businesses that have said, look, the last 2 years have been really tough with COVID, and now we're expected to pay these massive increases. At the same time, oil and gas companies are making enormous profits. And I think everyone can see that's just not right.
He's right, it's not just right. But I bet you don't do anything about it this time, do you? I bet you don't. Liars and hypocrites.
And that's why the Labour Party has a fully costed plan to freeze.
Look, this is one of these famous. They always have these fully costed plans. They haven't got a single plan at all. Not one.
Energy bills this winter. And we'll pay for that with a windfall tax on those unexpected profits. I understand. I completely understand why so many people are frustrated at the government.
Now it's not doing anything. Now you're in charge, or you're doing something. You're taking money off people's winter fuel payments.
That's not doing anything about their energy bills. That's dithering and delaying, just like it did at the beginning of the year. In the end, politics is about choices.
Yep.
And this government is choosing to protect the profits of oil and gas companies, unexpected profits of oil and gas companies, rather than sticking up for and helping hard-working families and struggling businesses. I hope that, just as we did earlier this year, we can force them into a U-turn, because under my leadership, Labour is on the side of working people.
Oh, sorry. yeah, that's why you're imprisoning us for daring to speak out.
And under my leadership, we can have a fresh start for Britain.
There you go. There you go. That's why we speak up. That's why we laugh at you. That's why we point out your grave hypocrisy. When you have people tweeting, I think it was Rachel Reeves, about, oh, there was an old woman with blue fingers and, oh, I'm cold, and we would never do that. We will protect her. And then you cut into power. And within the first 2 weeks, the first thing you do is you put 10 million old age pensioners on death row. Yeah, there'll be a small amount who could afford it, but the rest of them can't. And then what you do is you create it so there will be a rise in October. Because it's funny how it goes up in the winter. When you have got oil and gas and coal that you could be using, because it's important that this tiny little speck of a country reduces to net zero, because we're going to make no difference at all to the alleged climate crisis. And I say alleged because it's rubbish, absolute rubbish. It's because we're closer to the sun at the moment in our elliptical orbit. And as we move away, they'll go, yay, what we did worked. It's got nothing to do with that. Millions of people are going to die this winter. If we have a very, very harsh winter, millions of people are going to die because of, as Keir said, your choices. Any case, enough of that. I'm done. So, until the next one.
This once great nation, you rallied by